dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Yo, what is up, 24/7 Buff Fandemonium? It's Swank. It's Tuesday. It's 8 p.m. It's the K-Gun Report, Season 4, Episode 11. We got a hell of a show for you tonight. We're talking OTAs. We're talking Bills press conferences. We're talking free agency. Is the XFL a legit farm league for the NFL? And we're ranking all the opposing 2023 QBs, worst to first or worst to fur. Let's hit this intro and get it going, because that's exactly what we do. Here we are. Here it is. It's Tuesday. It's the K-Gun. What is up? I'm Swank, your host. Right over here to my right, your left, is the one, the only. Well, he's not the only, but the one, Scooter Magooter. What's up, Scoot?
What's up, Bills Mafia, FLX Mafia, 24/7 Buff Fandemonium. Can't wait to talk about first day of OTAs. McDermott got on the podium today, so he said a few things I liked, and we got some new guys coming in, and we have a little rankings list coming in today, so that's gonna be fun.
Ooh, it's
Welcome,
gonna
Mafia.
be fun. All sorts
we want
of
you,
fun.
we want you guys to join in this conversation. Let us know what you think once we get to that point.
Yes, we do. Yes, indeed, we do. And right below him, the guy that is his mirror opposite, but his soul brother, complete other, Jarrod Reed. What is up, Jerry?
Not much. Just getting excited to talk about these QBs that we're facing and the new additions and all that good stuff. And I'm just sitting here in between the beautiful Seneca Lake and Cuca Lake, enjoying myself as the FLX Mafia member. Go Bills! Let's talk some football.
Let's talk some football indeed. Thanks to all of our new members and watchers and viewers for hanging out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and do all that great stuff at 24/7 Buff Fandemonium, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. We are, of course, part of the amazing Buff fan base network and couldn't be more proud to be a part of that network. And if you look right up here, you can see that nice little 26 Shirts logo. We are proudly sponsored by them. I'm actually repping one of the originals tonight, Bills Mafia Tee. Go check out 26shirts.com to see what Del Reed and the gang's got cooking up for you. It's a great time, boys. It's a great time to be alive. We got Doug in the comments. What's up, Doug? We got Andrew. We got Debbie Emerton. We got Josh Williams. What's up? One day closer to the season. That's right, buddy. Doesn't it feel so good to know that there's stuff going on at the stadium, boys?
Oh, you ain't kidding. Every day they're a little closer, a little closer.
We got Lonnie Cook. What's up, Lonnie? We got Paulette. How you doing, Paulette? Oh,
just celebrated a birthday, actually.
Oh, happy birthday,
Paulette.
We got Cookie. What's up, Josh? We got Donna Torres. What do you guys think of the Bills signing safety Dean Marlowe? Man, you're right on top of stuff. We're going to get into that here in a couple minutes. Keep those comments coming. Uh-oh, we got the one, the only, the greatest, Buffalo Spartan.
Sparta!
A little weak, but that was all right. It's the beginning of the
First time in a long time.
Yeah. First time in a long time. Oh, we got Kelsey Napton. Go Bills. What's up, Kelsey? I think you're a new name. Thanks for hanging out. We got Paul Kirkdorfer. What's up, buddy? Gary Park. Look forward to you all every week. Thanks so much, Gary. Appreciate you, man. Ellen Lartz, the beautiful Ellen Lartz, said, what's up, everyone? Let's go Bills.
Buffalo Spartan said, weak.
Let's see. We got Dr. Bruce in the house. What is up, Dr. Bruce?
Doc in the house.
Let's see. Paulette says, thank you, fellas. Had a great birthday, especially near Josh Allen's birthday. Hey, that ain't bad. That ain't a bad gig.
My son Sullivan shares a birthday with Josh.
Oh, there you go.
Look at you. Well, listen, Jerry, if you have enough kids, they're going to share a birthday with
You're absolutely right.
You're shortening the odds, man.
Great point.
We got Charlotte. We got all of our friends here. What is up? Thank you guys so much for participating. I'm really excited about this show. I'm really excited that there's some stuff going on at One Bills Drive. And, you know, what the hell? Let's get right into it. OTAs kicking off, boys. We had press conferences from Sean McDermott. We had a press conference from Josh Allen today. I really liked what they had to say about some stuff. We had a couple signings. We'll get into that later. But Scott, let's start with you, buddy. What are your overall feelings from the media and the hype around getting these boys back in the building for some OTAs?
I just love the calm attitude that they had, calm confidence, I'll call it. McDermott, I loved his press conference. He addressed the defensive talk, middle linebacker talk, and how he's excited to get back into the coaching. Being a head coach, you're still coaching, but he said in the conference that he missed actually getting down on his hands and knees and basically coaching his defense. So I'm excited to see what he has to offer there. I love what he said about Ken Dorsey and him being himself, embraces the growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset, because that's something us Bills fans always think about. Is Ken Dorsey going to be a guy that's going to utilize the talent that they brought in around him? Because a lot of people don't think he did it much last year with the running back situation. So I think he hit on a lot of key points already in these conferences, and I think that'll make a lot of Bills fans feel good. And, obviously he mentioned the whole Josh Allen coming in with a little more focused, more confidence. I think that has to do with a little bit of the on-field stuff that he doesn't have to worry about anymore. But whatever it is, I'm just glad to see he's being his silly old self, and he's growing. And I love every second of it.
Love it, love it, love it. Love all of it. There's so much there. There's just so much there. And at the same time, Mr. Even Keel, Sean McDermott, not giving you a whole lot, talking about how he's working well with other members of the defensive staff with his new duties that he's taking on. Yeah, it's exciting, but in typical McDermott fashion, very underhyped. It's early. They're in t-shirts. I love that one comment. I don't know if you caught it, where he said, I'd been fooled at this point in the season before. People come in, they look like studs in helmets and t-shirts, and then you put the pads on, you start getting some real action, and they can't hang. So I don't know. Still very glad after all these years to have Mr. McD coaching these boys and hopefully getting that Super Bowl this year. What is up, Jerry? Do you have anything to add about OTAs today?
There's this one thing that stands out, and from what I've heard, and it's the fact that they said that Tre'Davious White has he seems to be moving faster, smoother. He seems to have taking advantage of this full off season where he could work out with the team and all that stuff, and he looks better than he's ever been, and that is freaking sweet. And then Josh Allen has this confidence in him and this calm that they keep talking about too. So a lot of these key little phrases that you want to hear, and like what Scott said, I don't know if they're more. They got a different attitude so far this year than they have in the past, and it's more business-like. But they know they're good. They know what they need to do. Let's go forward. Let's start right off with this attitude and just carry it through.
I love it. Set the tone. Daniel Green says, looking forward to seeing McDermott getting back into the trenches with this defense. Me too, man. I think a little bit of a breath of fresh air. I don't think it's going to be an insane difference. We talked a little bit with Mark last week about how the gap that the Bills have to actually achieve what we all want them to achieve is very small, like comparatively to other years, and like the pre-Josh Allen years, where we needed this and this and this and this and really needed to work on a lot of stuff. Now we just have to fine-tune little things, so that one little extra guy, that one little extra move, a new kind of mindset going into the defense that might look similar to what we've done in the past with some nuances that Sean McDermott's going to bring could really make a lot of difference.
And what I love about a Swank is that Dorian Williams is his piece of clay.
Yeah.
A brand new guy, played a similar defense in Tulsa, and McDermott has his guy that he could kind of do whatever he wants with him. He did mention that he was playing middle linebacker reps. He did mention he still needed some learning to do and all that stuff, learning the schemes and all that. But I think this is McDermott's guy, and I can't wait to see what Dorian Williams had to offer. There's a lot if he's going to call the plays, there's a lot to take in. That's why I think he's mentioning more of the special teams thing for him. I think it's mostly because he does have to learn that McDermott defense, which is very, very difficult. So
complicated for sure. A lot of moving parts. Yes, he did say that Williams was practicing at middle linebacker to start, and that was going well. A couple other notes to make. No Stephon Diggs this week. and keep these questions coming. I'm going to get right to them here. Also, DeMar was at practice. He wasn't fully practicing, but he was catching a couple balls on the sideline, doing that kind of stuff. So all good news, all cool shit. Patrick Hughes says, is Von Miller going to be ready, and will week 1 be Miller time? I saw a thing from Von Miller today. He was on the Pat McAfee show, I believe, for a little while. And then there was like a little tweet or something saying that he was guaranteeing he would be back by week 6, no later than week 6. So we all know kind of how Von's guarantees go. I mean, if Von's guarantees really went through 100% the way he wanted them, we'd have Odell Beckham, we'd have D-Hop, we'd have Derrick Henry. Like, this would be a loaded roster with like seven huge guys, and then like no one, because the cap would just be exploded.
As I say, they're all splitting $2 million.
Yeah, exactly. Every single one of them.
It's one of those things where we had Von Miller at the beginning of the year last year, and then he got injured, and we missed him dearly the second half of the season. I'd rather have it this way. Let's miss him a little bit at the beginning of the season while the Bills are finding their way, and then let's get him back when it's crunch time, when we're going to need him. So let's let him take his time, and then week 6, I'll take it.
Hell yeah, man. If we get a full Von for the rest of the second season, or the second part of the season, it's all worth it. We got Paula asking, what about Allen and Kincaid together during practice? Allen said that he really admired what Kincaid had before they drafted him. He was in Bean's ear. He said all of the scouting that he does is mostly highlight videos. It's not anything crazy, but he did like the way he moved to the ball, how he ran his routes, and that he had a wide catch radius. And again, was kind of preaching the same mantra that McDermott was. It's early. He's in shirt and shorts. He's learning, and he's eager to learn. But all signs point to, so far, minimalistically, things are going well. They're building a relationship, and I think that's the biggest part of this. Am I right, Scott?
Oh yeah, it's a huge part. Not necessarily, even if it's one of those things, is his route tree as a tight end is very excessive. He's a wonderful receiver in the slot, and even on the board, on the sideline. So he's got a lot of practice to go with Josh Allen. The timing is more in the cuts that he makes. And that's very important when it comes up a passer, because you need to time it out right before he cuts to get the ball out. So they have a lot of work to do, and I love the fact that the best way to do that is with the pads on or t-shirts, and just get it down over and over and over. They're going to throw about 1,000 of each pattern just to get that timing down to where they can Josh can blindfold himself and be able to complete a pass to him.
Yeah, that's what you want for sure.
Yep.
Bruce says, rumor has it that Miller's ahead of schedule. I think he might be ready for week 1, but likely won't play until mid-October, which I think is kind of down the same lines we were just talking about. So, Jerry, did you have anything to add?
No, you guys said it all. That's an exciting time right now. People are knocking the dust off, so let's do it.
Let's do it indeed. We had a couple of free agent signings. A familiar face. Mr. Dean Marlowe signed back with the team. I heard an interesting thing on WGR this morning where they were talking about how maybe this doesn't necessarily imply anything about Hyde and Poyer as far as their skill goes, but possibly their availability. What do you think about that, Jerry?
No, I think bringing a guy who's been in the system, familiar with players around him, that has seen some playing time is a great thing. And bring him in, get him his reps, see how he does, and then we'll see. Again, like we mentioned last week, there's a lot of players going to be on this team until close to the season starts. So you can keep them on the team as long as you can, and then maybe make the cuts when the time comes. But I think it's great depth right now, and a good experience depth too.
Yeah, anytime you bring somebody in that has a familiarity with the system, like, that's not a bad thing.
No.
Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of this pickup. I think we just locked in our 4th safety starter. Dean Marlowe, someone that, like Jarrod says, been around the league, but he keeps coming back to Buffalo. Unfortunately, the casualty, we'll go over rosters in the next couple weeks on our show. But with DeMar Hamlin, I think he might be a roster casualty. And I hate to say it because of the story, and it just doesn't seem right, does it? But I do think Dean Marlowe is the better option there. And Taylor Rapp, I think, is a great option as a backup as well. So I think the Bills brought both these free agency pickups this week, I thought were potentially could be part of the 53-man.
What do you think they do? So you think they cut Hamlin, or you think they put him on IR or practice squad, or what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what they can do with him. IR for maybe half the season to see what our Micah Hyde and Poyer do because they have been riddled with injuries in the last couple of years. So maybe it is one of those situations, but I don't know. Now they got 5 safeties I think could play for the Buffalo Bills, and they only keep 4 generally.
Yeah,
They've already paid him.
Yeah, that's the
Right?
truth.
So-
Yeah,
so
we'll
they've
see. It'll
already
be
paid him,
interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I was going to say right. Right. Rapp and Marlowe are the front runners for depth behind Hyde and Poyer right now. I would absolutely say that's true. So it'll be interesting to see. Joey Hatch on his wife's iPod on YouTube brought up that we also signed a tight end, and we did. He's right here, Mr. Joel Wilson. Just to me seems like a body. He does bring the count up to 90. The roster is at 90 players with the addition of Mr. Wilson here. They say he was very sought after as an unrestricted free agent after the draft. He was picked up by the Saints, but failed his physical because of an ankle injury that was nagging. He did pass the Bills' physical, however. I think he might have been one of those prospects that fell through the cracks, and now the Bills have picked up a guy who has a lot of more similarities to Kincaid than Knox, I believe. Scott, what do you think?
You're gonna like this take actually. With bringing in Kincaid, I think a lot of people think Ken Dorsey is going to utilize that 12 personnel, and right now it's Knox, Kincaid, Quentin Morris, Zach Davidson, and Joel Wilson. And I think with the 12 personnel, instead of just keeping 3 tight ends, they might actually be keeping 4 this year. And I think I mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. I think these 2 guys, Dean Marlowe and Joel Wilson, will both be guys that are on this 53-man roster. 6'4", 250 pounds, good size. I'm ready for it, man. I think this guy will land a spot for sure. There's definitely going to be some sweet competition. And these tight ends are no joke when it comes to size.
I think it'll be interesting to see where we're at. So you're thinking Morris and these 3?
I'm thinking Morris, Knox, Kincaid, Morris, and Wilson will be the 4 starters.
Well,
not 4 starters, but the 4 people dressing on Sunday.
Tune in here in a couple of weeks when we do our projection, our way too early 53-man roster projections. Oh boy. Let me see. Patrick Hughes, can we hit real quick on the new rule that makes kickoffs pointless? Yeah, Scooter was talking about this in the beginning before we came on the air. Scott, why don't you run down the new rule change for us real quick?
All right, and it's a rule change I thought was already part of I checked my receipts, and I was wrong last year. I did mention that anytime you call fair catch on a kickoff, they get the ball to 20. Apparently that was college, but now it's NFL. Anytime during the kickoff, if you're to fair catch anywhere, you could fair catch the ball on the 15-yard line, or if it's a touchback, the ball will automatically be placed on the 25-yard line. It's a first safety thing, and I get it, Swank and Jarrod. My concern is, they always, and we talked about this before, they're always concerned about safety, but now they've also accepted flex scheduling, shorter weeks having off. These players are going to be fatigued and tired, and we all know, we talked to Mark about it, tired athletes equal to injury. So if they're really concerned about it, I would have been tweaking the schedule a little more different rather than having a fair catch bring the ball to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, a fair catch anywhere on the field? Is that what you said?
Yeah, if it's a kickoff and say Bass does one of his high corner kicks into like at the 2-yard line, if he fair catches it and catches it at the 2-yard line, the ball still goes out to the 25.
Even on kickoffs?
That's all it is. It's just kickoffs.
I thought it was for both. It's just
So
for
a
kickoffs.
punt
Okay.
that goes out of the back of the end zone is automatic 25-yard line.
Mhm.
A kickoff, this is what this rule is specific to. A kickoff that gets a touchback 25, and anywhere a fair catch is caught will be at the 25.
So you're taking away that coffin corner.
You're taking
essentially.
away that high coffin corner where you're pinning a guy in a corner and you're able to make the tackle. At the
Well, I
10,
mean, in
12,
coffin
13.
corner really only that applied to like punts more than kickoffs. Now that the 40-year yard penalty rule came into effect, right? Because really that talks about like pinning it between like what the three in the goal line, going out of bounds and pinning them in that area, right? So that would really only apply to punts.
Well, they call it the coffin also if you can kick it high and have the guy catch it within the 5-yard line on the sideline without the ball going out. So you're kind of pinning them in there.
The goal for pinning them on a kickoff is to have that whole kickoff team kind of merge and trap them into that corner. So now if the ball, because you have to make a decision as catching the ball, is it going to go out of bounds or bounce forward or bounce back into play or bounce through the end zone? So as a receiver receiving that kickoff, you have to make that decision. Now, if you take away the fact that they have to make a decision other than a fair catch, then it's kind of like taking away the advantage of a kicker who can actually put it between the hash and the sideline in that end zone corner where the kickoff team can come down and swarm them down in the corner.
All right. Well, 24/7 BF admins are split down the middle now because Rob also says it only applies to punts. So we'll figure that out. So yeah, fair catch wise, I mean, I think the big part of the rule, obviously, aside from the fact that the NFL is trying to feign some sort of safety reg that I don't think really matters too much to them, as proven by all these other things that you guys are talking about, right? And then Harold Fuller saying no early games in hot weather cities should have been addressed for health reasons. We're talking about things that like, if the advertise money from all the networks is coming in, then safety seems to kind of go out the window a little bit. I'm not trying to dog anybody, but like cash is king, right? So it seems like the biggest thing to me is that there's no more place the ball at the 20 for the kick going out of the back of the end zone for a punt. Like that seems to be a big part of it too, right? Everything's at the 25 no matter what, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. We'll have to look that up too. Because the rule we saw pertained to the kickoff, but I don't know, to be honest with you.
We'll have to do a little more research on that, Joey. Wait, who said that? Joey? No, Patrick did.
Patrick.
Did you have something you wanted to add, Jerry? No.
Nope, I'm okay.
Oh, all right. Moving on to our next topic here. I thought this would be a fun thing to get into. The XFL finished its season here. It seems with Dwayne Johnson taking over the reins, it's really provided like some entertaining football, something to like kind of scratch that itch in the off season a little bit. Unfortunately, I didn't watch any games, but I did see some highlights. I have seen that a lot of guys from XFL have signed to NFL practice squads, to 90-man rosters, all this stuff. So the question I proposed to my two brethren here is the XFL officially a legit farm league for the NFL? Meaning baseball has farm teams, hockey has farm teams. They develop players in a lesser competition league to try to bring them up professionally. And I think it's something that the NFL has been lacking in pretty badly. I mean, it's basically, you're a kid, high school, college, NFL or nothing. You got the Canadian League, you got that stuff, but like really the Canadian League is like kind of the spot for, what was the Misfit Toys, right? And like Rudolph, like the Canadian League's that. The XFL actually seems to be breathing new life into people and players that A, you might have forgot about, B, might have got hurt and have come back, C, maybe they just had an off year and, it keeps them going and moving. So, Jerry, I want to start with you, buddy. What do you think about this concept that the XFL could actually be a legitimate farm league for the NFL?
It's starting off strong. It had a good outcome this past year for the league. I think would be a fantastic thing if they adopted it as the farm team. Like you said, it's NFL and then done. If these players come in undrafted or they don't get a chance to be seen on an NFL team, now they have a chance to go to the XFL and play and get some film on against other players, and then go from there. And another thing, if you are a top prospect coming in NFL and you get drafted, say 2018 top 23 draft pick, right? You come into the league, you fail to put stuff on film or impress anybody. So you're on a practice squad or you don't make the team, and then you get injured and then you're done. Well, with this, now you can come back a year later, play in the XFL, be seen again by maybe the Buffalo Bills that see your potential, and they whip you up this offseason as a potential linebacker. Right? Didn't we do that? So
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity. This also gives, it's like what we talked about last week with Mark. You know, you don't give some of these kids enough time to develop and to see what they actually have. Now, with the addition of not cutting players until closer to the season start and the XFL where people can continue to play and be seen, it's just a wonderful thing for these young players that might not have gotten that glimpse right off the bat that can potentially show their true grit a couple years down the road. So it's a fantastic idea. I think they should really go with it.
Yeah, I like it. I think they've reimagined this into like a legitimate product that failed a couple times and kind of got screwed by COVID at one point. But yeah, I think the Rock's turning around. Harold, I see your comment, and we're gonna hit that real quick right after this. What do you think, Scott?
Nobody wants a Charlie in the box. Land of Misfits, I've heard. Patrick Hughes, thanks for the comment.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But Rob Mullen, long are the days of the European League, guys, when we used to see the logo of our teams on either the back of the helmet that they represent, and they would bring in, Jarrod's our guy there, Freddie Jackson was one of those guys. I like it. Personally, I really do. Not only is it a rehab for players that have lost their way, they can prove themselves again, but it's also a resume for these players that haven't been drafted or been on a practice squad their whole career, 2-3 years. I think it's a wonderful thing. I don't think we're going to see a lot of players come of it quite yet, but I think once these players start going through this system, the game is a little faster in college. The game and the terminology on offense and defense are more advanced and more towards the NFL. So I think it's a great start, and they had a great start. My only concern, Swank and Jarrod, is that their season ends in May. So come they get this off-season training camp, all this stuff, then they play a 17-game season, they're going to be exhausted come playoff time. So it's going to be one of those things that I worry about fatigue. And again, when I say fatigue, I talk about injury. But I'm liking where it started. And you can also practice rule changes and see how effective they are on the XFL if you wanted to.
Absolutely. And I love that. There's stuff in the XFL that was there 2 seasons ago that I absolutely love. I love that there's a camera up with the replay ref right there. He's talking you through what he's seeing, why he's doing. It's 100% accountability, and you can't just like get on the phone and be like, well, it's right there for everybody to see. I love that. I love a lot of those aspects that they brought. I don't know, and guys, if you've watched some of these games, let us know in the comments. But one of the things I hated, and I think the NFL adapted it a little bit, was these on-field interviews with coaches in between play. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. Like, it's the most obnoxious, intrusive, annoying, unprofessional shit I've seen. Like, let the guy coach. Just leave him alone.
If they come out at halftime and they're pissed off because they're losing and they show that they're angry, they show some emotion, then they're already they're on their asses about, well, okay, well, he was mad. Well, wouldn't you be? Get out of my face. Talk to me at the end of the game. That's what the press conference is for.
After the game, Ken Dorsey's reaction after that Miami Dolphins botch, right, of him slamming the keyboard or slamming his tablet.
Yeah,
that's a meme now. Just leave it. I know. I love it too. It shows heart, but. Don't talk to the coaches during the game. Talk to them an hour before and an hour after. Leave them alone throughout the game. Yeah.
Our boy Doug says the QB talent was a pretty big drop-off. I agree. I don't think that it's any more of a drop-off than you see in training camp or preseason, though. I think it's enough to get people reps. There's enough good there to get the cream of the crop. I'm not saying that you're going to get a whole expansion team out of, the XFL, but I would say that when you're talking about the NFL and the 32 teams that we have, and people have asked, like, why hasn't it expanded again? Why not? And I heard the greatest answer to this. There are not enough offensive linemen, like competent offensive linemen, to fill another team or two. You can't find the depth. You can't find the talent. They are not there. And without that, you're literally making the whole product worse by trying to expand to 2 more teams, because there's just not enough high quality players. Where the NFL is at right now, there are not enough players playing to that quality to allow there to be 2 more full teams. And I think
and you see it. And you see
yeah.
it when someone goes down, a big name guy goes down, that whole side of the line potentially is non-existent. And you're right. It's because it's a lack of the amount of players that can play at that level. That's why it's so hard to get to that level.
Yep.
And if you want to talk about dropping in quarterback play, sometimes you're just looking for that diamond in the rough. And I'm going to throw the name out there of Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
Right. He played in the Arena League and he played in a couple other leagues. And then someone saw him and they brought him up to play. And look what he is now. He's a Hall of Famer. So there might not be a full XFL 8 teams full of all these great quarterbacks. But man, if there's one every 4 years that the NFL can bring up to shine and have a good story, it's worth it. And they were able to do that because they gave this kid a chance. So
absolutely. Let's see real quick, because I want to move on to our main event here, ranking our opposing QBs from 2023. But right here, Harold Fuller, college football players getting paid isn't the minor leagues now, as a question. So one of my favorite stats is that 1% of high school kids make it to college football and play at a collegiate level. Less than 1% of those college kids, all of the college kids that play football, make it into the NFL. So if you're looking at how much of a drop off that is, I would say the players that are getting paid in college have already got that trajectory where they are probably going to make it into the NFL or whatever sport they're getting paid for, because it doesn't just apply to football. And my personal feeling on that is, if I was going to school for any other job in the world, I could get a job in college with what I was doing. And if I was good at that job, I would get paid for it. Nobody would ask me not to get paid just because I was going to that college. So I'm all about it. I think that's what college is for, right? It's to make money. Like you're supposed to learn how to be better at something to make money. And I think a lot of these high-end colleges have been just taking advantage of these kids for decades. And now they get to sign deals and, maybe make their money. A kid that had a horrific injury or something his senior year in college could actually still have some income and instead of like having to risk it all and turn it up to get into the NFL.
Yep. These kids don't only make money for that football team either.
Yeah.
These kids make money for a football team that makes money for the lacrosse team that barely makes it, for a swim team that barely makes it, wrestling team, for the whole, like D1, we'll say LSU. There was a thing about a stat out there about LSU. The football team made over $51.8 million, but for the program that helped support, I think it said 10 college sports teams within LSU that made less than zero, didn't make any money. It still supported those programs to be able to do them, even though they didn't make money.
That's
so these
awesome.
kids that bring these people to these games are doing more than just helping the football program. They're helping the athletic associations in those prospective schools. So
absolutely. Ellen Lartz asked who was behind the incarnation of the XFL. Originally, I believe wasn't it Vince McMahon?
Yep.
Right, from the WWF.
Mhm.
And then it was a failed endeavor. It was supposed to be kind of like a video game, like it was a little more brutal than your normal NFL, and it failed. And then they tried to bring it back a couple times, but now The Rock seems to actually have a hold on it, and I think it's going to probably be around to stay for a little while.
Yep, I agree.
Guys, I have something from theathletic.com, and it says NFL owners approved a rule change Tuesday involving fair catches for the upcoming season. Here's what you need to know. The ball will be put in play at the receiving team's 25-yard line if there is a fair catch on a free kick. A free kick includes a kickoff or a safety kick behind the receiving team's 25-yard line. So it's either from a safety kick or a kickoff. It doesn't pertain to punts.
Okay.
Gotcha.
If that clarifies anything.
Sure.
Mhm.
Joey Hatch
Thanks,
says that there was a new quarterback rule too. I didn't hear anything about that, buddy.
I
I'm
didn't see
sorry I
that.
saw that earlier too, that you wrote that, but there's a lot coming in, and we really appreciate it. And speaking of appreciation, we really appreciate being part of the Buff fan base, as well as being sponsored by our friends at 26 Shirts. Don't forget to go to 26shirts.com, find something you like, help out a good cause. It's all gravy, baby.
Swank, you know what else I can do?
What else,
Go
buddy?
to 247buffandemonium.com. We have blogs from Rob Mullen and Ryan Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys did a great job during the draft, profiles and all that stuff. And obviously, Dr. What do we call him?
Bruce?
I'm sorry. What do we call him? The doctor's report.
The
Yeah, Dr.
injury
Bruce
report?
McKellar. Injury report. Yes, that's what I meant to say.
No
He does a
worries.
great job. And any injuries that come up during this training camp and all that stuff, he'll be putting blogs up explaining what's going on with that. So hit us up, and we also have a merch site. 24/7 Buff Pandemonium, the OG and FLX Mafia.
Hell yeah.
Swank, I have one thing really quick to say. NFL owners have approved a bylaw that will allow teams to dress a third quarterback for games without having to use a roster spot on that player.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
like that rule. All right, Joey.
So do I.
Big catch, man. I like that one.
Awesome.
Yeah, it saves. Yeah, I think that saves
Makes
a lot of
sense.
garbage. That's great. All right, let's see here. Jamie, Uncle James already calling overtime. We got 20 minutes left, but you're right. We're probably going into overtime, buddy.
Swank, can I throw this in real quick?
Yeah.
Cornerback Antoine Brooks from the Seattle Sea Dragons, NFL experiences practice squad, and tight end or tackle Eric Magwood, St. Louis Battlehawks. He adds to the tight end depth possibly. Defensive back safety Nate Metters, St. Louis Battlehawks, NFL practice squads he's been on, and he's been on an active roster a couple times. And quarterback Quentin Dormady, Orlando Guardians training depth. So those are the four guys that the Bills did bring in from the XFL. Keep an eye out for them.
Yeah, I like it. You know, like I said, it's depth. Rob Mullen had a good comment back a ways. I threw it up, but we had some good conversation going here, so I didn't get to hit on it. But just that the odds were that anybody coming from the XFL is probably a depth player, and that the longevity or being tired and all that might not be as big of a factor, because they wouldn't be quite playing like the heavy game load that you would normally be playing if you were a starter. So,
right.
Dr. Bruce is asking if you're drinking too much, Scott, because you messed up the injury report thing.
I never drink too much.
I don't have a drinking problem. All right. So the main event tonight at 8:40 is we, the three admins here of 24/7 Buff Pandemonium, are going to be ranking our 2023 opposing quarterbacks from worst to first. And right here is our handy little spreadsheet that Scott and I made. And what you see there is the rank 1 through 14, because we do play all the AFC East quarterbacks twice, so we only counted them as one. Jarrod's column, my column, Scott's column, and then a 24/7 BF fam column. Last time we said the first three times we got comments. I think we're just going to take a case for anybody you guys pop up and pick the favorite one. So unless there's a overwhelming majority, make your case in the comments, and we'll see how it all flashes out here. I can't wait to talk a bunch of shit about all of these quarterbacks, most of them anyway. But I'll tell you, man, it got a little sticky there halfway through.
Oh yeah.
Chris Christian wants to know if we're counting two as backup.
I contemplated that. I did.
Josh
right.
Cook says Danny Dimes has got to be the worst. There we go. You got to vote for Dan Jones in there.
Man.
Patrick Hughes, can we just go ahead and put Josh Allen number one? Josh Allen is not on this list because it's the opposing QBs, but Patrick, God damn it, he's my number one. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
All right. Oh, here we go. Rob Mullen, worst QB on our schedule. Sam Howell, Commanders. And I will say, Scott, that is my number 14 is Sam Howell.
And you know what? That's mine too.
Hey.
There you go. Let's make it all go. That's
Hey.
mine too.
All right, let's see. Oh, we got Patrick Hughes saying Mayfield is the worst. Patrick, bro, you know how bad I wanted to put Mayfield at the bottom of this pile, dude. I wanted it so bad. But I had to go Howell.
I'm betting Swank put him at 13, though, didn't you?
Well, not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but yes, absolutely, I did. He is number 13. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Oh, Harold Fuller says Sam gets no love. I'd like to hear what do you got for that, Harold? Dr. Bruce.
He doesn't have a lot of surrounding talent as far as wide receiver goes. He does have
Scary Terry.
And that's about it as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that running game is going to save him. It'll be a nice learning year for him.
Phantomonium's going with us there, Scooter. We got Dr. Bruce saying Howell too.
Good.
All right. Let's see here. I think that's enough about that, and we might be able to cruise through this a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, I figured if we don't talk too much about him, we could probably get her done.
Well, I'll talk a little bit of shit about this. Baker Mayfield is my number 13. There's a little bit of no surprise there. I think Baker is a total flash in the pan. He does not have any sort of the talent to get this horrible Buccaneer ship from sinking. It's not going to be. He's going down with it. He's absolutely going down with it. If he's the starter halfway through the season, I will be super surprised. Take that receipt, sound clip, whatever you want to do with it.
Nope, totally agree with you, Swank. If you can make it through the halfway of the season, then he might be higher than 13. But for right now, for me, he's 13.
There you go. Wow, we're right on it. Who we got?
I'm the same way.
Chris Christian, we don't know for sure if Sam sucks, but we know for sure Mayfield sucks. This is my favorite segment so far.
It's 2 for 2 right now. This is awesome.
So the Phantomonium went with Mayfield.
Bruce is saying Jimmy G. Wow, man. Now I don't want to give away my rankings, but I had Jimmy G quite a bit further up than 13, man. I'd love to hear your rationale for that. Patrick says Jimmy G will be 12. Okay. Because he'll be Tom Brady's backup with the Raiders. Can we say, I called that shit last week. Some random ass message. All right, Phantomonium. I think I've seen it enough. I think you're with us. Let's go, Mayfield. And we'll move on to 12. Jerry, who you got for 12, buddy?
Number 12, I have the bag of milk, Mac Jones.
Hey!
He can sit there at number 12. He's still got to prove a lot of stuff. He's been there for a little bit now, and he really hasn't put much for much to see. So that's where he's going to camp out at number 12. And we get to face him twice. So
me too. I got him. All three of us got. Hey, you definitely were reading off your list when you were giving him the names earlier, because I was like, when I was reading, I was like, oh shit, man, we got the same exact three. Right
this is the year for him. He's got talent around him, wide receiver wise, and they brought him a tight end. So if he's still that bag of milk, guys, they should have drafted a quarterback this year.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
Yep.
Zappy will be starting for him, and Mac Jones' career will be over.
Right. Over. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Bruce says Jimmy G is 13, so I'll hold him for your vote for 12, Bruce. I'm going to assume. Patrick says Jimmy G will be 12. Oh, there you go. Some good QBs on the list, absolutely. Chris
That's
Christian.
what we've noticed. Our roster, our depth, our schedule is going to be tough because halfway through the list, you get some pretty legit former MVP style quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's getting a little thick here, real soon.
Thick.
Jones, Mac is headed to the XFL. Ooh, all right, they're all the way up at 11 already. You guys went Garoppolo. All right, I like it. I like what you're doing here, Scotter. Scott, what do you got for 11?
I got Garoppolo at 11.
Ooh, we got our first discrepancy here.
Yeah,
Jerry,
it'll be interesting to see what happens with a run game and how he treats him. I think a lot of people are comparing him to Derek Carr, thinking it's the same person, but I like Derek Carr. I always have. I think he's a great quarterback. Garoppolo, I don't think, not so much.
Dr. Bruce is saying Jones for the fan base at 11. Everybody's saying Fields. Did I miss this? We're not playing Chicago, are we?
No.
Yeah, guys, we're not playing Chicago.
I have Garoppolo sitting at 11 too, Scott. So I'm right there with you.
I'm like, am I going nuts? We're not playing Chicago.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that on
There
there
was
too. I
like
was
a
like,
couple of them saying it. I was like, Jesus, I don't think so. All right, you got Garoppolo. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I think that number 11 here is Mr. Dan Jones. We got the Jones Bros, 1, 2 for me, 11 and 12, and I put Daniel a little bit higher because I think he showed more consistency last year than Mac did. So I'm going Dan Jones there. Fan base. Let's see. Patrick. Oh, preseason. We're playing Chicago. Yep. Sorry, we didn't. There's no preseason quarterbacks on this list. Just regular season.
In these bottom four, I mean, you can mix and match them any way you want. I agree with everybody right now.
Well, I do think there's a tier there though. They're saying Mac Jones for 11.
Okay.
You said bottom four. I say yeah.
I mean, I think you're right, Scott. But I would, for me, aside from fan bases, I wouldn't have put Mac Jones that high. I still think Jimmy's higher, and actually, I think he's number 10. So you can go ahead and put Garoppolo for 10 for me.
There you go.
So I'm interested what you Reed boys got to say. Is this Dan Jones territory or Tua territory? Who you got here?
I have Dan Jones for 10.
All right.
There you go, Jared. I'm actually going Tua on this one.
Oh, ooh, I love it. Please, I want to hear all about it. What?
It's not the concussions. It's not that he can't finish a season. I just think you take that yards after catch, those speed receivers and all that stuff away from him. He can't constantly. We see the highlights of him underthrowing these guys, and the defenses are only going to get smarter. Our Bills defense is obviously going to get smarter because we had Hyde back and Jets got better. I just don't see Tua being able to provide that deep ball, that huge play that he was able to show it last year, glimpses of it, but defenses are smart. They're going to figure that out. And if you could figure out that you have to rely on Tua being accurate, I think you're going to be successful.
Preach. I love it.
I can't wait to share that with every Miami fan tomorrow. It's going to be awesome.
We got the Phantomonium.
And there's evidence to prove it. We've seen highlight after highlight, even in the game against Buffalo when he did complete a couple deep balls. It was still behind us.
Yeah.
And let's remember that game against Buffalo, we did not have one single starting corner or safety playing that game.
He has skirted through this like fantasy season, and to me, he hadn't shown any consistency until this year, and it's all speed, Waddle and Hill. And that's it. He can run around a little bit and make enough room before getting creamed to bomb a ball down Hail Mary style and pick up these ridiculous yards. And I think the Bills' defensive line is improved. And I don't think that's being talked about. Anybody who's improved their D line is going to have a better chance at smoking out Tua's false bravado here and really having the light come to his eyes, I think. The fan base
are those you're talking about stars or an actual light?
yeah. Fan base is going Dan Jones here.
Yep. Okay.
Chris Christian has an interesting comment. He says, where do you put Mike White on this list, though, if he was a starter? I think he's right in this neighborhood for me. I don't think I personally, and you guys weigh in too here. I think Garoppolo's above him, but I don't think anybody else on my list, Jones, Mayfield, or Howell, are above him. I think Mike White's better than those four.
He had a couple good games last year, but against Buffalo, he didn't.
Yeah.
So he'd be down towards 13 or 14 with me because the Bills had a heyday against him. So,
Yep.
Oh,
I agree.
okay. I got you.
I'm
I
around
got you.
there, 11, 12.
Yeah. I think I'd put him. 10, 11, 12. Yeah. That's
Well, you
a really
give
good
him a
question.
full season. You give him a full season and
Mhm.
have him play the next year. I bump him up a little bit because I think
Sure.
he would have the potential to be a decent starter in the NFL.
Well, looking at our schedule too, or our record, he shouldn't have beat us, right? Like he should have got stomped out because we're a force, you know.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
I think that's something that as fans we get a little like caught up in that sometimes. That like, oh yeah, we're good. Like it's not like days of old, I guess. So here we go, number 9. Looks like Scott's getting ready to put his pick in here. Christian's chiming in here. Wilson or Dak now? That's a good question. Ooh. Looks
I got Wilson.
Scott went Daniel Jones, not Donald Jones. Rob Mullen saying Tua. You put Russell Wilson. I love that.
Yeah, Russell Wilson at 9.
Ugh. Go ahead. Why?
You know, he struggled last year. I think because of that, I have him at 9. But being in the system another year, if by end of the season, this might be a guy you could have at 3 or 4, depending on how everything falls into play. But for right now, looking before the season starts, I have him at 9. He has potential to climb. This is one of the players that I have at 9 that could, like I said, move up dramatically, depending on how his year goes.
Well, that's what's interesting about him because it's like, is he on his downward trajectory or did he have a down year in a bad system? I'm kind of going with the camp that he had a down year, but I don't think that he's ever going to return to the Seattle glory. So I like where you got him at 9. I have Tua here. And for all the reasons that Scott already kind of went over, man, I think he's a fraud. And I think he's going to get exposed. I think it's going to be, this might sound like a weird comparison. I think it's going to be like a Kaepernick thing. I think that system, the Hail Mary system that they put in place for him, that's only going to work one season. I know Tyreek Hill's a monster, whatever, but you'll get figured out. You can't be that one-dimensional. So I think he's a fraud. 24/7. Ooh. Wilson looks like everybody's saying Wilson. What's up, Kevin? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Kevin.
Kanye, what's up, guys? What's up, Kevin?
Rob says Wilson will be there much better with Peyton there. I think we're going Wilson for them. Yep. Okay.
Christian said or fall to the bottom, which if like what Swank is saying, if you feel like this is Russell Wilson's done, he could very well go to the bottom.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yep.
Uncle Jim.
I'm gonna jump right in there, guys. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Wilson as my 8th because I believe he's right there somewhere.
Run it back. And me too.
And that's where I have Tua. So right now we have Tua at 8, 9, and 10, right? In that little clump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I have Tua. And like you guys were saying, why you have him up a little lower, but the only reason why he is what he is because of Waddle and Tyreek. So
Fandemonium's got Tua as well. This is interesting, man. This, I mean, if you look from 8 down, everybody, we have all of the same players. Every single category has every quarterback, the same group of names, maybe in a little bit different order. I love this. I love it. I love that it's working out like this. You guys are killing it out there. If I may, I'd say that we have elevated a tier. And now we are getting more into the God, I don't want to say elite, but I want to say above average, right? Like I would say I don't know. I don't even think there's an average group here.
Right.
I think these bottom like 8 through 10 are say 8 to 11 are slightly below average.
Mhm.
12 to 14 are garbage.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And now I'm looking at this list 7 to 4. No.
7 to 5. I got 3 people. I got 3 of these quarterbacks being all in the same tier right now.
I think my next 2 are on the same tier, and then I got a different tier and then another tier.
Okay.
So my pick for 7 is Dak.
Yeah, I'm right there with it. Dak Prescott.
I think Dak is still. This is going to come off wrong because I think he's a fine person. I hate the Cowboys, but Dak's fine. He's a loser. I just think he's a loser. Not in life, just in football. I think he's got an incredible arm, and they will talk about that forever. He'll throw for 800 yards, and they'll still lose. They don't know how to get him going. They don't know what to do. I can't believe with that roster, that offensive line, the wide receiver talent, Pollard, tight ends.
Yep.
And then you look at the other side of the ball, the trenches, the corner, the linebacker, like how this team has not put it all together. I have no idea. And I don't think they're going to figure it out with Dak.
And they've been like that for a while. On paper, they have every position filled. And yet they still can't figure out how to win games, enough games to advance in the playoffs, Steve. And you're right. I mean, pick a position, and it seems like they have a good player playing that position anywhere on the field. It all comes down to the quarterback.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
We all agree. Dak for number 7
yep.
for all 3 of us.
And them too. Yep.
Yep. All right.
Let's see. Harold Fuller says, are there any better quarterbacks in the NFL than the top 7 that we're playing? That's a very good question. And if we were doing a list outside of this, I can't really think of a whole hell of a lot of names that would be outside of the top 7. I mean, you'd add Josh, and that's why we have a fighting chance to beat the shit out of some of these teams. But, Dak at 7 makes sense. Dak's lucky to be 7, Chris Christian says. I say,
Yep.
That was a great statement, though. That's a great statement, right? Top 7 quarterbacks. There's not many more out there.
Yeah.
Well, we're arguably playing in the AFC East, which is potentially the toughest division. The NFC East, which many will argue is the toughest division, and then the AFC West, which with Mahomes and Justin Herbert, I mean, that's a great statement. We're playing the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? That's what you get. That's what you get when you're that team,
Yep.
Some great comments coming in, guys. Keep them coming. Great viewership. Love you guys very much. Please follow us. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that. We're everywhere, and we're here every Tuesday. Number 6 should have been number 1 to me. Don't get caught. And if you do, don't talk to police. That's for Patrick Hughes. Also, I think this is for Patrick Hughes here in a second. My number 6 is Mr. Trevor Lawrence. And with that being said, here we go, folks. We're in overtime. That's right. We're in overtime. If you're new to the show, anytime we go after 9, we're in overtime. Patrick Hughes always has the cue for it. He's the man. Trevor Lawrence, I think he's a budding star. I think you're really going to see what he is made of this year. It'll be a make or break for me. I think a lot of people have given a lot of excuses for that wayward coaching year. And I think that, holy shit, Scott, really? Wow. You're trying to get that shock jock stuff right now, huh? Wow. I have a lot of questions about that. I think Trevor Lawrence, though, he'll have a damn good chance to bring the Jaguars into a wild card spot this year, and I'm excited for those games. Scott, go ahead and destroy the world with your number 6 pick.
I agree with Mark Maddox of last week. Not the Trevor Lawrence part, but the Joe Burrow part. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, arguably the top 3 wide receivers in the league, with a pretty good offensive line and a defense to boot. I think he's just got every perfect thing surrounding him. Dump down, give it to Mixon, give it to Perrine. I think the talent of Joe Burrow is his surrounding cast, not necessarily him. And it was the same at LSU. So that's why I went with 6 for Burrow, because I honestly do believe the other 5 quarterbacks are better.
Wow.
So what happens when Mahomes comes in and you say Andy Reid's the only reason why he's successful there?
I don't have Mahomes at number 1.
There you
Wow.
go. Swank, I'm right
Wow.
there with you. I think Lawrence is right there too. Budding star. He's going to be dangerous in the league for the upcoming year, especially with ATN coming back at running back. It's going to just add to it. So I'm right there with Lawrence with you.
We got some indecision here, but I am leaning towards going with Dr. Bruce's pick. Patrick Hughes busted my balls saying that I'm going to keep Dak in fantasy. Nope. I don't know if I'm going to keep a keeper. I have a lot of good receivers, so I might, and we'll see what happens. Dr. Bruce says he thinks Rodgers is 6. He's getting old. Yeah, I don't have Rodgers. I have Rodgers at the bottom of I don't know. I have Rodgers and my next pick in the same spot, same tier. I like the Rodgers getting old thing. I like what you're saying, Dr. Bruce. I'd really like somebody else to weigh in. Rob saying Lawrence. Patrick Hughes, Rodgers is already hurt. Hey, man, you know what? Oh, Chris Christian saying Herbert here for me. I mean, this is where this gets interesting. You're, God.
Rodgers got a bum ankle now, so that he may drop the spot.
I say, you know what, Chris, not for nothing. I'd say, yeah, go ahead and put Rodgers here. Why not? That's what they want. That's what we'll give them. The doctor wants it. It's what the doctor ordered, man.
So at number 5, he has Rodgers. I have Herbert here. He's one of those guys who has a lot of talent around him. Eckler, is Eckler still there? Did he get traded away?
He's still there.
He's still there. He's one of the best receiving running backs in the league. He's got some weapons at the receiving core there. So I got Herbert, young and another young star coming up.
Yeah, I have Herbert as well. And it's looking like Rob, Kevin, Chris, Herbert. 24 is going Herbert too. Scott, who do you got?
I got Rodgers here.
So you think Aaron Rodgers is better than Joe Burrow right now?
I do.
Why?
Aaron Rodgers throws the deep ball. He throws the medium pass accurately. He doesn't depend on his running backs in the short game. I think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback. It's just he's still got the form. He's still got the style. Is he going to be able to utilize his talent around him this year? I think he had better talent last year than previous years, and his numbers dropped. But I think Garrett Wilson and if Breece Hall comes back, I think they'll be able to take a load off Aaron Rodgers if Breece Hall can come back soon enough. But Rodgers, I still like him. I think he's a quarterback, basically. And that sounds cliche, but
no,
he's a quarterback's quarterback.
I hear you. It's just that it's hard for me with Burrow. I think that's that's a tall order, man. Because I think Rodgers, man, he had those 2 MVP years, and now where is he? Last year, nowhere. And then coming into this year, almost retired. He's out there in OTAs and screws his ankle or his calf up. I don't know. This is gearing up to be what I want the Jets season to be. And that's for them to take it on the chin because they put all their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket instead of chasing Lamar Jackson like they should have done. Mm-hmm. My number 4 right here is Mr. Aaron Rodgers. The only reason I have him up this high is out of respect. And really the same arguments that you were making, Scott. And I know I just gave you all that shit and I have him ranked higher, but it's really just because of Burrow. If you didn't have Burrow there, I'd be like, yep.
Now, don't get me wrong. When I mention these quarterbacks and the talent they have surrounding them, I mean, you're only as good as the talent around you. Mm-hmm. My problem is the yards per attempt, passing yards per attempt. So when you talk about Mahomes, who has like 4 yards per attempt, one of the worst in the league, and he has his wide receivers do all the rest of the work, I don't consider that much a talent. me as a quarterback guy, my talent is those deep comeback routes, the back shoulder passes, the hitting the skinny post, the hard passes where not only do you have to read the linebackers, but you also have to make sure the safeties are falling into a spot where you can drop these dimes into these wide receivers. That's where I'm going when I say, yeah, but they got this guy, and this guy. I want to see the deeper passes. I think a better quarterback has better medium to deep accuracy than someone you're going to give credit for who just dumps the ball off all the time.
Sure.
You're old school quarterback guy.
Mm-hmm.
This new age quarterback stuff is definitely what it is. It's the jet sweep pitches. It's the inside the 5-yard line, weird underhand throws to Kels or a running back coming out. It's all scheme now. Where back in the day, it was those deep balls. It was the arms that made the quarterback.
All right, we gotta let me get to the 24/7 pick before because you're gonna have a controversial one here now too. They want Lawrence off their list. They had a couple people talking Hurts. Kevin was talking Hurts. But yeah, they want Lawrence.
That's okay.
Put Rodgers down for me. And right there with Swank, it's the whole respect thing.
Yep.
I had him lower. Doing this chart was pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I had him lower than that, even like up to 8 at one point. But then the whole respect thing brought him down to 4 for me.
Yeah, and I think that's more than fair for me.
Mm-hmm.
I got Hurts as my number 4.
Oh my God, dude, you're so full of. I'm gonna call you out right now. You're so full of shit. You think because you only got 3 spots left, and I'm looking, I don't see any Trevor Lawrence on your list, and you're telling me that Trevor Lawrence is better than the contending Super Bowl champ, the ex-reigning MVP, and then the other contending Super Bowl champ from last year? That's what you're telling me right now?
That appears to be what I'm suggesting.
Who's your number 3? Tell us who your number 3
Swank,
is right now.
Swank. He did have 102 temp coming into tonight, so just throw that out there.
That's true, dude. That is true. If this is Trevor Lawrence, it better be Trevor Lawrence. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Oh, that's our one. There goes our PG-13 rating. Holy shit.
I got Joe Burrow as number 3. I got Joe Burrow.
Holy shit. Well, all right. Well, tell me why. Hold on. I can't. Yeah, go ahead and put Burrow for Jarrod. Who do you guys got out there? Joe Montana? Is that who 24/7's got right now? Start with Hurts. Why Hurts at 4?
Oh, because the obvious answer is I think Mahomes, Lawrence, and Herbert are better than him. But Hurts, I think, still has a little growing to do. Had a nice running attack that helped him out. He uses his legs a lot. And I love Josh Allen for what he does. But when I'm thinking of quarterback, I'm thinking passing, and I like these other 3 ahead of Hurts as far as passing the ball goes.
Okay. I don't even want to entertain your number 3 right now.
What does he have? I can't see it.
It's Patrick Mahomes. He's got number 3.
He's going with that whole scenario of he thinks that Andy Reid's the reason why Mahomes is as successful as he is. And I agree with you. But I had this debate back and forth with myself too. Mahomes for me, spoiler alert, is number 1. But you have to take into consideration.
Can we stop with this?
You have to take into consideration.
No, you cut off right now. You cut off. Don't give away your number 1. Jesus, you boys.
Like you have to put that has to be part of the equation. Is the weapons you have and the coaches you have. He's the best quarterback in the league because he's won MVP, he's won Super Bowls, but he's been put in a situation where he can be number 1. And it takes more than just him. It takes a village. So he's got all the right pieces with him. I fully understand why I always make the argument too, is Mahomes is only Mahomes because of Andy Reid. And I'm 100% behind that. But he's still Mahomes. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league because of Andy Reid. I'm not going to take his coach as an excuse of why he's so good. He's good because of everything that is together with him fits.
I also picked these guys based off the 2023 season, not what they've done in the past.
Oh, top 100?
It's a good thing, man, because your crystal ball better have Trevor Lawrence winning MVP, Super Bowl MVP, hooking up with Brady's ex-old lady, getting some kind of crazy sponsorship. All right, here, let me figure out who 24/7's got number 3. looks
Did you
like
pick yours, Swank?
I got mine. I want to take care of these
Oh,
guys first before I
okay.
get into this. Hurts at 3. Rob Mullen says. Fuller says Herbert, but they already picked him. Burrow. Let's go with Charlotte. Charlotte says Burrow.
Okay.
They want Burrow here.
Yep. Good call, Charlotte.
So right here, these top 3, I'm gonna say are real close. This is that tier. This is that elite tier. At least for me and Jarrod. Dude, I can't believe you. You can't really think this. You really think this? This is real? I don't think so. I think this is a bit. I think you're putting it on right now. My guy right here is Joe Burrow. I thought that I was knocking him down, that was controversial. That putting him 3 for me was like I was gonna have to explain it away, but Jesus, you put him at 6. Holy shit.
I did.
Joey Burrs, man. I think what you're forgetting in your argument, man, is that he's only been in the league 2 years. And I think that he's on a crazy trajectory. I think he's good. I think he's annoying. I hate his personality, but I think God, if you're putting him in a conversation with like Tua, I can see the hope and pray, chuck it up, get lucky. Him, he's a little more. He gets the game. He's running the plan. I think we haven't seen 100% of what he can do, and that scares me more than what we have seen. I think. So that's my justification for it.
Yeah.
And your justification for Patty is he's a gimmicky quarterback in a system. Is that what's going on?
Yep.
You're so full of shit.
I get it. I get that part. I do.
I don't know,
but
Super Bowls talk, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Has there been anybody that's won multiple Super Bowls that's been considered more gimmicky than him? Like, I mean, you get those fluke ones, but is there like a gimmicky quarterback that you're like, I can't believe he's got a Super Bowl, let alone
a gimmicky
2?
one?
Yeah. Or like a bad quarterback. Tilfer, but 1, right?
Jeff Hosseller.
Yep.
All right, Scott. Don't keep us in suspense anymore, man. Who you got here? The bye
My
week.
number 2 quarterback.
The bye week
is Trevor Lawrence. It's Trevor Lawrence. Calvin Ridley's coming there. Zay Jones and Christian Kirk are already there. They got Evan Ingram as a tight end, running back Travis Etienne. And I like the progress that he's made every year. I'm talking 2023 season. He led them to the playoffs yesterday. I think this team is going to be either a divisional or an AFC championship.
He said yesterday.
Yeah, that fever's really hitting right now.
It's hitting now.
But last year I meant. So I see him pushing a late playoff run, and I think it's going to be because of his arm. I like his talent, and I like he throws the ball deep.
He throws the ball, and that's coming from the quarterback, is that he throws the ball down the field. He's not relying on the gimmick. So Scott's going, like I said earlier, back to that old school quarterback where you have to throw the ball and not worry about the screens and the underhand front shuffles that give you credit for passing yards. I get you. I get it. Jalen Hurts for me. Put it down.
So we're looking at last year's stats really fast. Passing yards, Patrick Mahomes, 52.50. The next closest was Justin Herbert, 47.39. I mean,
it's a weak West division.
Yeah. Yeah. With two powerhouses in it, I guess. The guys that can throw the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like 3 games worth of yardage that he's above and beyond. I guess. I see what you're saying. And I'm really just playing this on for the conversation. But, like, I mean, you can have whoever you want up there. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, I guess.
You should check out Eckler's stats last year. He's one of the best receiving running backs in the league. He's probably one of the highest receptions, maybe over 100 receptions last year.
Yeah.
So it's going back to the whole quarterback thing. Scott's looking at guys who can throw the ball down the field and not relying
Hey,
on
listen,
those dump
man. Just because he's your twin brother doesn't mean you gotta defend him. He can speak for himself.
That's what I'm
Everything's
saying.
fine.
Mahomes and Herbert. That's what I see there. Is Mahomes has got the gimmick underhand shuffles, and Herbert throws to his running back one every 5 passes.
I got Hurts here.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts. He's the man. He's got a great story too, man. It's hard not to root for that guy. I'm glad I root for him only because he's in the NFC.
Kevin says Lawrence at 1 is a bold, but maybe accurate. Kevin's he's got you, man.
Thanks, Kevin.
Scott, have Herbert as number 1. Yeah, I think that's where it's going. Spoiler alert. Rob Johnson got a ring while he was riding the pine. That's true, Alan.
Well, you guys already know who my number 1 is. Patrick Mahomes.
Hold on 1 second. We got... Who do you guys have left here, man? You guys got Hurts, and you got... Yeah, they're going Hurts here.
They're going Hurts for number 2?
Hurts, and that'll leave Patty number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with me.
He does make those silly passes. He does pull that defense in right to the sideline and does those last-second throws. He does throw the ball downfield great. He's just got the perfect situation for a quarterback that can learn the game right in front of him. He's got the talent around him, and he's got a coach who just knows how to put the people in the right places. You can't fault him for it. You know, he's in the right spot at the right time, and he's going to continue to be a threat for years to come. And I'm glad Josh Allen has his number a couple times. Burrow has his number more times than Mahomes has his, you know what I mean? So these top 3 quarterbacks that I have, Burrow, Mahomes, take out Hurts because he's NFC, but Allen are going to be fun 3 quarterbacks to watch for the next years to come. But Mahomes right now has to be number 1 that we play against. Josh Allen is number 1 in my heart.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said. I think you can't fault him for being talented and being in a great scheme as much as we want to.
I do all the time.
Yeah. I don't want him to be good, but he is good, and it's annoying, and I hate watching it. And he's become more irritating, I think, as the years have gone on. A little more crybaby. I don't know. He's going to be the new Brady. A lot more athletic, a lot probably more entertaining to watch with some of the stuff, but I don't think you can fault his skill or any of that. I mean, he is who we thought he was, you know. Herbert, let's hear it.
Yeah. I like his wide receiver core. Mark Williams, Keenan Allen is obviously still there. 3rd wide receiver last year, going to be the 4th this year, and a big guy, strong hands, Joshua Palmer. But they went and grabbed another big-sized wide receiver from TCU in Quentin Johnson. Does he have all the skill set that it takes to be like the number 1, can do all the route tree? No. But he's someone that's going to act like a Mike Williams and be that 30 to 40-yard ball down the sideline and go up and get it kind of guy. And I think that's the kind of quarterback. Yes, Herbert does dump it off the Eckler, but it's not. And here I go defending. It's not really those crazy dump off, not gadgety. It's out of the backfield. It's legit like swing passes and triangle passes and angle passes. It's none of that Andy Reid kind of creative offensive stuff. So, and I'm a huge fan of Herbert. I think he does everything the right way, and he's tough. And I think the stats will prove it this year.
I like it. Running these 2 guys back to back. Last year, you had Mahomes 52-50, 8.1 yards per attempt, less attempts and less completions than Justin Herbert. Herbert had 47-39 for pass yards, 6.8 per attempt, 699 attempts for 477 completions, a higher completion percentage, 68.2, than Patrick Mahomes at 67.1. But here's the problem. 41 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes, 25 for Justin Herbert, 12 interceptions for Patrick Mahomes, 10 for Justin Herbert. So almost twice the TD production to about the same interception.
When it's first and goal at the 1 yard line and all you do is gadget pass plays, any quarterback in the NFL can get 40 plus touchdown passes. It's those within 5 yard line, those crazy little jet sweep shuffle passes that go to Kelsey, not McKissick, but McKinnon. It's all those plays that he got at least 20 of those touchdowns doing that alone. You know, any other team
they
like
still counted.
I know it's still counted. I know it's still counted, but look at the touchdown runs by the other running backs inside the 5 yard line as compared to the Chiefs.
I hear you. We got a lot of people. Where was that one question? Where would you guys honestly put Allen on this list if he was on it? That's Chris Christian. I like that. Jarrod, you said number 1.
Yeah. I would say he's up there tied with number 1 at least, because obviously he's our quarterback. But when I see Mahomes making those last second throws, like when he's going to the sideline, our Josh Allen is doing the same thing, but he's also turning up to lower his shoulder to make that play to get those yards too. I think our quarterback has more grit. He wants to win more, if you can say that as an NFL quarterback. But I just feel like he has just that little bit of he doesn't have the MVP. He doesn't have the Super Bowls yet. But I also believe that's partly due to a head coach that's only been in the league for 6 years and an offensive coordinator who's only been in it for a little bit too. Mahomes has a legend, a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer with Andy Reid. Andy Reid didn't win his first Super Bowl until his 20th year in the season. So if we're going to go like that with McDermott and everybody else, then we still got a ways to go. But I think Josh Allen's talent and his will to win is right up there at number 1.
I like it.
That's my
quarterback.
I agree. He does it all. Deep balls, middle, throws in the middle, the back shoulder, the deep comebacks. He does it all, and he runs the ball. At 1A, 1B, I guess, last year. But this year, he'd be definitely 1A for me. Especially, he's made a lot of changes in this game that shows what Josh Allen is all about. But yeah, Josh Allen number 1, and it's not just because I'm a Bills fan. But
so is that 1A, 1B with Herbert? You're saying
last year it was 1A, 1B with Mahomes. This year it's 1A. The thing is, if you take the identical stats, and it's hard to say because I don't think Mahomes would have the stats he did. He does if he had another offensive coordinator. But you give Josh Allen Andy Reid, just the fact that Andy Reid is his head coach automatically boosts him up in the rankings as far as being noticed and being a social media highlight reel. Even though he already is without him, Andy Reid would obviously bump him up a little more, I believe, because of Andy Reid's pedigree.
Yeah, but to Jared's point, Andy Reid's been in the league a long time, hadn't won a Super Bowl until he met up with Mahomes. So, I mean, all the talent that he's had, he had McNabb, who was, kind of similar, I guess, for that era. A lot of guys. I don't know. I think it still has to fit. It still has to be, I don't know. I want to believe. I'm with you. I want it. I want what you're saying. I want it real bad. But I don't know. I don't think you can. To me, I don't think you can dethrone him until somebody comes up and does it, And I think that's kind of like, the Brady Manning debate and all that stuff. We all want Peyton Manning. We all think Peyton Manning was a better quarterback. But on paper, rings, you got to say it. Well, I'm not going to say it, but you got to think it.
We'll think it.
Yeah, we'll think it. For me, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do it, and it might not be popular. I'm going to put him 2. And really, it's just because I want him to do it. If he gets 1, he's 1. If he wins it all, he's 1. I think he's got the drive and the determination to do it this year. I think he's got the pieces around him. I don't think there's any reason not to. Everything bad that could happen to this team last year happened. This year, there's no possible way that can happen again. So I think if you take half of those distractions, half of the tragedies away last season, you might be talking about a Super Bowl, from last year.
Okay.
For
sure.
So we'll see. Great exercise, though. Great participation.
Loved it.
Thank you guys so much. And thank you, too, for playing along. And
It was
Scott,
fun.
man, I'm glad you threw some fire in there, man. It shakes stuff up. It makes for a good little debate.
No, it's whether or not I actually believe what I wrote down or not. That's what makes it fun.
I don't think you do. I'm gonna go beer board where I'm gonna get you to admit that you don't really believe what you just wrote.
Stats may prove otherwise.
All right, here we are.
Has.
It's 9:26. Final thoughts. I'm gonna start with the man himself, the king of controversy, Mr. Scooter Magooter Reed. What's up, Scott? What's your final?
Love the exercise we did today. We can argue that any one of those top 5 could possibly be anywhere else on that list. Obviously, give the Super Bowls to the Mahomes and all that stuff, but it was a fun exercise, and we got some tough quarterbacks to play against this year for sure. Hook us up, guys. We're live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on Twitter, Facebook, and the YouTubes. I do want to let you guys know coming shows. We will be having guests Nate Turner and Brad Lamb. And we will also be talking about way too early predictions, offensive and defensive depth chart. So tune in. We love having you.
Well, hell yeah. Jerry, what do you got for a final thought?
Tonight was freaking awesome. The participation was great. Chatting with you guys, always good. Yeah, I'm a Bills fan through and through. Josh Allen's my number 1. This was a list of the top 23 or top quarterbacks we play against this year, 2023. And the reason why I say Josh Allen's number 1 is because I'm optimistic by the end of this year, he'll be getting his first. And that'll definitely put him at the number 1. I can't wait to talk football with you guys again next week. Let's see what happens in OTAs for the next following week. And I got to confirm with Nate Turner, but he's due to show up next week as our guest.
Yeah.
And we had him, Thomas Takes had him on a couple weeks ago that we were a part of. And oh man, Nate Turner was awesome. So I can't wait to share him with all you guys. Until then, though, go Bills.
Yeah, looking forward to meeting him, talking with him, man. I was out of town that week, right?
Mhm.
It was good times, and I can't wait. It's always good when you get an ex-Buffalo Bill on the show,
Buffalo Bills.
For me, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, as always. Every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can find us, that's me, Scott, Jarrod, right here for the K-Gun Report on 24/7 Buff Fandemonium, part of the Buff Fan Base Network, and as always, sponsored by 26 Shirts. Go to 26shirts.com, see what you got over there. Every shirt is connected to a charity. You're helping out no matter what shirt you buy, and it's awesome. You can also check out our website, 247buffandemonium.com. We have blogs from the great Rob Mullen, Ryan Thomas from Ryan Thomas Takes, Dr. Bruce with the injury report. Lots of cool stuff to keep you going through the off season. Be on the lookout for our Twitters and all that stuff. We keep up to date with free agent signings and OTA stuff, anything that you can imagine. And I think next week I kind of want to do a comment giveaway for something on our Bonfire store. What do you guys think about that?
That works.
So I think next week, if you tune in and you leave a comment, you will automatically be entered on the Wheel of Destiny for the following week, where we'll spin that and you'll get to pick one thing off of our Bonfire store and we'll buy it for you for free and ship it your way. So go check out 247buffandemonium.com/store. We have hoodies, we have tees, we have tote bags, we have mugs, all sorts of cool stuff. Go pick out what you want, buy something on the way. You know what I mean? If you don't win, you can always go buy something. So other than that, a lot of stuff for the Rager, getting that all set. Anything you guys want to see or do, make sure you're shooting us a message. And damn, that was fun. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Regarding the Rager, Mark Maddox did confirm he will be coming.
That's right.
Go Bills.
Mark Maddox 2 times in a row in the Finger Lakes for the Finger Lakes Mafia at the 2023 regular season Rager, brought to you by 24/7 Buff and Ammonium. Go
a dangerous